We're glad you're joining us today to talk about our stitching and other stuff. We're trying to do some nice smiling before we start so that YouTube has some better options that we can choose for thumbnails, because let me tell you, they've been choosing some whoppers.
Last couple of weeks of, in fact, my son, it popped up on his YouTube recommended list. I think he subscribed way back when we started. He goes, "Mom, I saw your YouTube pop up." He goes, were you crying?" I said, "No, I wasn't crying." And then I went to look at it and I thought, yeah, I'm kind of going like this. And it was right after Dad had a surgery or something. And no, I wasn't crying.
and there is a way to choose your own, like make your own, what are they called? Thumbnails. But it takes a lot of work for me to find a good picture and screenshot it. And then it's big on my phone and then I can't get it to upload. And it's just been.
I've tried to take a screenshot on my phone to put on social media, and it's really hard to find when you and I both look good at the same time.
I know. There's I'm either looking doofy or you're looking goofy.
Or I'm looking doofy.
It's like a no-win situation here.
I know. Anyways, okay.
Well, we are a channel about cross stitch and lots of other chit-chatty things. And I think we can talk about our knitting too. And we are a mother-daughter team. If you're new watching us, we're in Washington State, but I'm in Central Washington and Mom is in Western Washington, on the other side of the mountains. And then my three girls also cross stitch, and Lydia's showing me she has a hole in her favorite jean starting.
And we knit, they cross stitch, they do other random crafty things. And
And
I got ribbons at the fair last summer.
And they're trying to be funny with their hands in the background behind my screen.
We'll get them on and off quickly.
Thank you. Yeah. So we've been doing this since COVID. Are we going on our third year?
Our third year in May.
In May. Wow. We're coming up on our third year. That's crazy to me.
I know. Just kind of like, we can do this. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Before COVID, and I'm like, well, but we're in different parts of the state. We're not together that often because of life. And then when COVID happened and everybody was Zooming, we were like, we could totally figure this out. Well, she did. I was like, I don't know how to do that. I knew how to do Zoom.
And, I realized like during COVID, we were talking on the phone for like an hour a day, half the time about our thing. And we were like, we should just start recording this and just put it out there for the world to enjoy.
There's probably multiple times a day we talked about.
Oh yeah.
Everything. And her husband did our intro for us way back in the day. We never changed it.
He did, because he had a little bit more iMovie skills than I did. So video editing was totally new for me when we started.
Though he totally doesn't.
I'm still limp along, but I at least know the basics.
You do okay, but he doesn't get. I mean, it was amazing that he did that for us, because he's like totally not into this cross stitch stuff at all.
No, I think he thinks we're crazy for doing this at all. As long as we have, he's probably like. He said this week when I uploaded the video, I left YouTube open on the computer, and he got on to do something, and he's like, "You guys have 640 something subscribers. You have that many people who are interested in hearing about your cross stitch?
That's so few compared to so much everybody else.
A small Flosstube." He's like, yeah, that is so crazy.
We're puny. Your dad was laying on the bed doing his exercises, because my husband had knee replacement surgery a month ago. And I was in the living room. All of a sudden I heard him just laughing away in the bedroom. I thought, usually he does his exercises and he has to lay there and let his leg go flat and straight. He usually takes a nap.
Yeah.
And he came back out later. He goes, he said, "I watched your Flosstube and you totally threw me under the bus on that budget thing." I said, "I know, honey, but they enjoyed it." I said, "They enjoy hearing about you and your shenanigans." I said, "Besides, they're all probably in the same boat."
We all have husbands who won't finance our obsession.
Our hobby habits. He calls it my hobby habit.
Your hobby habit. Well, I heard you have a finish, and I'm eager to see what it is this week.
You guys, this is an epic finish, and I didn't think I would get it done, but I was so close last night that I stayed up till 3 o'clock just for you all to see this epic finish.
I'm wondering if I'm right in the one I'm speculating, but it seems like.
What do you think it is?
I was wondering if it's your Seasons Girls, but it is. Oh wow, you got all that done. You had a lot left last time.
I did all of this over the weekend. Wow. I did her arm. You can't see her arms, but her arms. I did a bunch of here. I did this. So I finished winter.
Pretty.
And there they
You
are
all done.
in all their glory.
So pretty.
I started this. I looked it up on Instagram. I started on January 14th, 2021. My
Oh,
goal had been, I stitched a season ahead. So I started with spring last winter. And then I was supposed to finish winter on the first day of winter, but I got behind and I kind of put her down and kind of lost steam because there's so much white. And my white doesn't pop as well as it shows on the pattern. But by the time I realized it wasn't going to pop that much, I didn't want to rip it out and start over. So she's just going to be the way she is. But I just missed my goal by 2 months.
Yeah, not long.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your favorite one, do you think?
I think the fall one.
The fall one. My favorite is the summer one.
The summer one is adorable.
I love the strawberry.
Those two are probably my two favorite, but the summer.
I like them all.
Huh?
I said I like them all, but I really love that summer one.
I think I had such a good time stitching fall. I was really on a roll with fall, and I got spring was the first one, and I realized there's a lot of more stitching on here than I really realized when I started working on that dress.
Yeah.
So I didn't have as happy of an experience. I mean, I loved her, but then summer went along.
What a big commitment it was going to be.
Yeah. I loved the strawberries on summer.
Yeah, I do too. And the lighthouse, I love lighthouses.
Sadly, I think you can still get this kit. It's a Barbara Anna if you're new. Barbara Anna, but it was a collaboration with Nitka Moscow in Russia, which I don't purchase from them right now, but I do think they still have it. I don't think she has it as a pattern. I think it's still a kit. And
so we can't really access it unless you're.
Yeah, I don't even think they can ship to us. I don't think you can access it right now, to be honest. I don't think they can ship to. I don't think they can ship. But I tell you what, they cut the threads pretty darn close. She did not give the DMC numbers because people in the past, I think, had cheated. This little tiny piece right here is all I have of the dark brown.
Oh boy. What do you think? That's just 3371 or something, like.
I think so. It's either that one or an 8 something. It's pretty dark.
839 or something like that.
Yeah, I think, I would have to go match them at the store, but I wanted to save a snippet in case I ever give this to somebody or to Millie or whoever that might want to stitch it.
Oh, she still wants it. She's nodding.
They could go to the store and match the colors because I don't know what they are.
Or even just pick a similar one and just.
You could, because this is the only picture you got with it.
Yeah.
Little tiny one. But you can find them online. You can see it online. But anyway, I saw it in 2020. I fell in love with it. I wanted it so bad. And then I couldn't figure out how to navigate their website with the English. And then they sold out. And then it was such popular demand that they did another batch and I was able to get it. And, I thought, I'll probably get it in 6 months. And I think I ordered it maybe in late April or early May. And I think I got it by June. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Pre-war, obviously. But she's done and I love her. And I really hope someday that they release it as a pattern because I think people would love to stitch it.
Yeah, it's a really.
I definitely am going to pass it on to Millie if she wants it.
Yes. And maybe we'll
make came in one big long roll of
maybe we'll make working copies and we can pass the stash when
and I did. I had working copies. I never used the original copy because it's a big piece. It came rolled up in a tube and they literally just mailed this cardboard tube to you. It's kind of their thing. They do other ones like that. But anyway, I felt really happy about getting that done. I really did. I knew I was so close. I just needed to buckle down and just do it.
Yeah.
So she's done.
And you did. That's so great.
Yeah. I do finish things once in a while.
You do. You have big pieces and then eventually you finish them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of distracting noises around me. I'm sorry. We've got like spoons scraping on bowls and zippers.
Do you want to have the girls share before we do featured friends?
Maybe we should do that. It'll probably be a little more peaceful for me after that. So why don't we do them next? And Rosie gets to go next. Go first because she's
okay. Rosie
patiently waiting her turn.
Our little Rosie Joy.
Rosie,
who's 9.
9, almost 10. She has a finish as well.
You're knitting.
It's a little wet.
What is it?
Oh, it's an almost finish. You need to leave in the ends. What is it?
It's a shawl for my stuffy.
Which stuffy?
She said it was going to be for her doll, but that was a surprise secret so that her Lovey puppy in here? No. So Lovey puppy didn't overhear her. Lovey puppy is her special stuffy that she snuggles with.
Lovey puppy's going to get this shawl. Oh, it's very pretty. Look at that garter stitch.
Your stitches are getting better, way better.
You
still have
a blanket I needed for her.
It's matching. You still have a few like holes and dropped stitches, but overall your knitting is getting better for sure.
Did you do that all on your own without Mama's help?
I started it and finished it with her.
Yep. Well, good job. I mean, I had to remind her how to bind off today, but I just showed her a few times and then she remembered and did the rest of the bind offs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
You weave in the ends. Do you do that by yourself?
I've been doing it.
Oh, you've been weaving it in on, just without a needle? Weaving it in with your fingers. Yeah, your knitting is loose enough to do that.
Lovey puppy's going to love it.
Yep.
I'm actually coming.
Okay, Millie's going to come around.
Okay, Millie.
Okay, Millie.
What?
Nothing. You've just been a little bit driving me nuts since you came. Right from the start. This is Millie. She's my middle child, and she very much is a middle child.
She's a middle sister.
In the middle. Millie in the middle. And Millie loves cross stitch. She does a lot of cross stitch. So let's see your cross stitch.
She's committed to her cross stitch, that's for sure.
I meant to tell you that several people said they were excited to see you guys again last week. They miss you.
Yeah, they like seeing you and all.
No, last week you did, but there had been a few weeks where we would record it like on Sunday afternoon when you'd be out playing.
Oh.
So there was some weeks that you didn't come and people were commenting.
And they liked your mushroom piece.
I feel like we should have made a working copy of this because it's getting kind of beat up. Now show. Oh. Mushroom forest. Some tiny models.
I think there's another one of those.
What?
I don't know if it's by the same, but I feel like it's different. Oh, maybe not. I remember, okay, never mind. I'll have to look again when I go to the thread needle.
What you see?
They hand dyed the fabric.
Yes, we did dye the fabric.
Oh, you got number 2 done.
Yep.
I started number 3 down there.
Oh yeah, you did.
These 2 ones at the bottom.
And then will you do all the green or the blue?
I'll probably do the blue mushrooms next. And then these little.
Oh yeah, you have the little tiny ones.
Oh, like the little toadstools or the little, what are they? We used to just call them.
Mushroom cap ones.
Cat mushrooms, yeah.
Wow.
So cute.
Oh yeah, it's turning out cute. Looks so good.
I'm not excited for it.
Did we dye this blue ourselves? Is that right? It was blue, but what did we do? Anything? No, we didn't dye this one. No, not this one. She just picked this one out at Threadneedle Street. It would have been.
Oh, okay.
Would have been pretty tea dyed, but I kind of like it not though. I
like it not for that piece because I think it just really pops on the gray.
Did we dye? We dyed
the Christmas one.
Your Christmas blue, yeah, the blue.
Which we didn't put out this year.
I know. We'll finish it this
year. You guys tea dyed or dyed her swan princess too.
Yeah, that's right. Which we also need to finish.
Millie's had several finishes over the last year.
We have to put that up.
I have a lot of finishes I need to do for them. I know. Really behind. I mean, it's hard enough to fully finish my own things, but I have 3 people producing things.
Yeah.
Years that.
Yep. Is Liddy there?
No, Liddy is not here. Where is Liddy?
Number 3 is A Wall tonight.
A Wall. She's just a little less like into it. She's just a little less into it, which is
kind of goes in spits and spurts, I think.
She's been coloring again. You know, we've always talked about that. She really likes to color. I feel like I thought of a craft this week that I thought she could really get into, but I'm not sure what it was now. But I thought, she'd probably really like that kind of crafting. But now if I think of it, I'll say it.
Was it like a needlework or something totally different?
I think I was thinking that it would do something similar with filling in colors.
Diamond painting?
No, I have thought about that for her, but it wasn't that this time. I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but it was kind of like that
Mhm.
methodical. She just
Mhm.
likes that it's already there and she just needs to add the color,
Yeah.
I think. So I don't know.
Liddy is kind of well, I don't know if she still really is, but in the past she was just very sciencey oriented. She liked sciencey
She
things.
still
And
is. She likes
when she,
facts and
yeah, like I'll never forget when she was like, I don't even know. Well, how old was she when you moved into the house, into that house?
she turned 2 like a week later. So 2.
In the old house, but in this house.
Oh, in this house? Well, it was 6 years ago, so she was 7 maybe.
Okay, so it was in the old house because she was little. She was like 3 or 4, and her favorite book was some National Geographic. What was it? It was like scary. It was kind of scary. Like it wasn't dinosaurs, but for her age, I felt like she loves this. What was that book?
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I remember thinking, really? You like this, huh? Okay.
Well, and somebody gave us like as part of homeschooling materials this like encyclopedia of science kind of a book. It was an Usborne book, so it has just like pages with pictures. And she went through a stage when she was like 5 that she would just read that book, and it was just like, what are you doing?
Here,
It was like anatomy and
yeah, read Dick and Jane. Read Dick and Jane.
I know, she's so funny. Well, yeah, she's funny. She has always really liked.
Yeah.
She's always pulling out random things that she's read in her Muse magazine. There's something she said this week that she just knew a lot about, and I was like, that sounds made up. Are you sure? What are you talking about? She's like, it was in my magazine. Okay, I believe you.
Don't argue with Muse then. Funny girl.
Anyway, they're all so different from each other.
They are.
We have a featured friend this week, and we have it from Linda Bazarski, who sent me actually 2 because I missed the one that she sent at the end of January. I probably like saw it when I was flipped open Instagram, but then I forgot to make a note that she had sent it in. So I'm going to show that one and the one she just sent this last Wednesday. So why don't I put those pictures right here? That she stitched that autumn Quaker over 1 on 28 count, so it's half the size that it calls for, and it's so tiny and beautiful.
Didn't she just share her other Quaker that she had done with us?
I don't remember now.
Or was she did? Maybe she sent that one in not done. I feel like we talked about her doing one over 1.
Might have been at the Zoom chat. I think it was at the Zoom chat.
Yeah, because we were all impressed with how cute it was going to be because it was going to be half the size.
Very dainty and tiny.
Yeah, it's lovely, Linda.
So pretty.
Always lovely.
And the other one I've never heard of, the one from JBW, the rabbit alphabet. That's cute. Yeah. Fabric. She doesn't say what fabric she used, but I bet she'll comment if I ask. So Linda, what fabric is that? Did you dye that or?
It's cute. I love the little bunnies and the little buttons and everything.
Yeah, that's a really cute one.
Yeah,
really pretty.
Cute.
You are such a fast stitcher, Linda.
Is Linda.
Those things out. Thank you.
I
said thanks for sharing those with us.
I know, that's what you get to do when you retire.
Just sit and stitch. Sit and stitch.
Do a load of laundry here and there and stitch in between and vacuum and stitch. Do the dishes and stitch. If I didn't have to work 10 hours a day, you'd be amazed at what I could get done.
You'd have a lot more starts.
I know. I was thinking about a new start. So last year, I think think it was Nashville Market, which is over now, which I'm kind of glad because my Instagram was just full of people yucking it up with each other. And, you know, serious case of FOMO here. But I'm happy for all of you designers that got to go. Don't get me wrong. But yeah. Anyway, it was either that or it was the other one that Lindy Stitches and her crew. They did another market in the fall. What'd they call that one? Expo.
Oh yeah,
Expo, and it was
I
all
think that
online.
one's West. Oh, that one's all online. Never mind. Okay.
So it's not Expo. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry if Lindy watches this. I doubt she does, but if Stephanie. But anyway, it was either that one or Nashville. Probably Nashville. Plum Street Samplers did an exclusive, and it was a beautiful piece called "This Is the Day," and it was based on the Bible verse. And it's a big brick home, pinks and red bricks, and it's a beautiful piece. And I have it all kitted up because I didn't buy a lot from Nashville. I didn't buy anything this year, but there's some that I want to get. But I thought I should bring that out. Start it.
That means you're going to be stitching a huge house, right?
I do know that. That's why I should start it now, so I can put it away and bring it out. Put it away and bring it out.
That's true. You could go slowly.
I've just seen people finishing it on Instagram, and it's just such a beautiful piece. And I wish somebody would just stitch it for me and get it framed so I could just hang it in my house.
I don't like stitching houses enough to do that for you. Sorry.
I also have a really large pattern that I got on our trip last spring from Shepherd's Bush. It's a La-Di-Da pattern, and it's about home. And Dad loved it. And they had a conversion, which I loved their conversion. And I thought, oh, I should probably really start that one because that would be lovely to have in my new home. Not that I would have it ready to go when I move, but because it's a big one. It's a lot of houses. I think it's a row of houses or something. I don't know.
Fun. Sounds like fun stitching.
I like houses as much as I like borders.
Yeah.
I don't know what I like little motifs. I like motif patterns.
Yeah, you do like little motifs.
I don't really like stitching, really.
What are we doing then?
I don't know what I like to stitch. I sound like I don't like
buy new
anything.
things to stitch.
Last week I talked about how I didn't like samplers, and guess what? I saw one that I kind of liked.
I knew that was going to happen. You know what else is funny? I only had time to. I very rarely actually get to watch very many Flosstubes because I'm so busy. But I watched Carolyn and someone else. Who was the other person? And they were all about samplers. Like, I think somebody had asked Carolyn Zook at Zook Stitch, what is a sampler? Like, what qualifies as a sampler? So she's talking all about samplers for this long time. And I'm like, I literally just hit upload on a video all about how we don't like samplers. There was somebody else too. I can't remember who it is.
I forget the one that I forget the one that I saw that I liked, but I do know that I watched part of Gail's Golden Needle. I haven't finished it yet, her latest one. And I think she called this a sampler. It was Strawberry Fields Forever.
Yes, I like that one, actually.
And I thought, okay, if that's a sampler, truly, I mean, I think there's supposed to be like an alphabet. I don't know what really classifies as a sampler. There's reproduction samplers, and then there's modern day samplers. But that piece I've always loved, that Strawberry Fields.
And there is one that I really like, and I can't think who stitched. It was somebody that I was following on Instagram who was stitching it, and it's like birds, and it's pinks and reds and blues, and I can't remember. I don't even remember the name. And I was thinking about that this week, that is a sampler probably, and I have always really liked that piece.
Yeah.
I think I am generally just not that huge of a fan of historical samplers, but I also feel like I could be eventually, especially if that sampler had actual meaning to me. Like most of the time I look at these repro samplers and I'm like, why would I do that in my house? Like, that's not me. I didn't do that. Like, but anyways, I was thinking a lot about samplers this week after our conversation recording last week about it.
Was Carolyn stitching a sampler?
I don't remember. I don't know why. I don't know. And I hadn't watched her previous video so I don't know if they were talking about a sampler and then somebody said, what is a sampler? So she was kind of defining what it is and what, what
I wonder if some of Rosewood Manors would qualify as a sampler, like the one that she's doing, that Cambry. Oh man, that's a beautiful
those
piece.
Quakers, I would feel like those are practically samplers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They're not like,
Anyway,
Maybe not though. Yeah.
you know, we'll probably end up stitching samplers in a year.
Give it a year and it'll be the year of samplers for stitching stuff. On both
Who
ways.
we need to watch is this. Is it Brenda, the sampler stitcher?
Yeah,
Sampler
yeah.
stitching. I bet we
Yeah.
learn a lot about samplers
Find some
that we
really
clearly don't know anything about. So don't listen to us about samplers. And if you love samplers, go for it, because
Yeah.
it's all about what you love.
Yeah. I was gonna say something more.
Well, if you have something,
what Vonda, I liked what Vonda Lee said, that she also didn't used to like samplers, but that she visited the Attic Needleworks in Arizona and started to gain appreciation for them.
yeah.
And now she says there's still a lot she wouldn't stitch, but it's funny how one design or sampler can speak to you and suddenly you're going down a completely different path. And she said, time will tell if I ever go down the Haid path, which is the path, you know, we were talking about that last.
I was never going to stitch a Haid, and I'm kind of not right now.
You're kind of, you don't have the Haid, so you were right so far.
I have a start. I had to laugh at Janet Jabber's comment. She says she must tell her husband, I'm buying all this stuff now for when I'm retired and on a fixed income and I have plenty to stitch. And I kind of do feel that way a little bit.
Yeah,
because your dad's constantly like, okay, you guys, I don't mean to harp on him, but
you know, he watches this, Mom, now.
No, I'm going to be nice about it, but we had to have a frank conversation. Well, I was kind of at fault about this a little bit, but we went to Barnes and Noble to get my dad's birthday was a couple weeks ago, and we had a birthday celebration today for him. And he loves to read, and he loves historical nonfiction. He loves World War II, U-boats, spies, you know, that whole genre. And there's always books that come out. So we had picked a couple books out for him at the store, and then Dad said, and then I went over to look at the magazines, which is part of my haul, because none of my stores close to me carry any cross stitch magazines anymore, and I don't go down to the Barnes and Noble very often. And I knew I wanted to get a hold of
Stitcher probably hasn't come in yet. I think
no, and it's hard to find that on the shelves, but I'm supposed to get that in the mail. So, but I knew Just Cross Stitch had a Stitchy Princess Black pattern in it for April. I think she had something last month too, but I'm not sure. So I really wanted to get my hands on that, right? So while he was over looking at books, I had the 2 books we picked out for my dad. And then I saw a Mediterranean diet magazine, but they're kind of like cookbooks, really. But there was some really good looking grain bowls and stuff, which we're trying to eat more of. So I thought, I'm going to get this. Well, then I had that in my hand, which he didn't really see because I had it tucked under the books. And then I went over to the cross stitch. I found Just Cross Stitch. I put that in my pile. And then I found another one that I didn't realize was as expensive as it was. It's it's an English one, British one. And so they're not. But I haven't bought any of those for a long time. So anyway, he went out to the car because his knee was starting to hurt just standing around. So I went up to pay. And it was a little bit of a sticker shock for me. But I thought, well, I did add 3 things to it. I did not realize that the British magazine I bought was $16.99.
Yeah.
And I should have looked, but I was kind of in a hurry because I knew he was out in the car. So I got in the car and he didn't ask me how much I spent and I didn't say anything. And oh my gosh, you guys, we get home and last night he's on the bank account and he goes, Kim, what did we buy at Barnes and Noble? I said, well, those books for my dad. And I said, you know, I got that cookbook magazine. He goes, yeah, but blankety blank seems like an awful lot of money. And I said, you just don't understand how much things cost, Carrie. That's the problem. You don't know how much things cost. So you think we're going to go into a place and it's just going to be, yeah. Okay, I bought flosses, this many flosses, and 1 pattern, and maybe 2 other little flosses the other day. It was like $40.
Yeah.
You know, because these are all
$3 probably each about.
Yeah, and I know her price went up because their prices were going up on these. All these dyers raised their prices. Anyway, and so like that was part of the discussion last week. My son said, well, you need to tell Dad how much the cross stitch stuff costs. I said, oh, fair enough.
Okay.
But Barnes and Noble, man, he's on it. He needs to figure that out. So I love him dearly, but this is where we're at. And I know that part of this is he's bracing himself for retirement and a fixed income. And I know and I get it. I'm a little anxious about it. So I agree with Janet Jabber. All of this that I bought is my retirement when I can't go whenever I want to.
Yeah.
Yarn and cross stitch stuff.
Yeah. Keep you busy.
Because whatever extra money I have has to buy, replacement underwear and stuff when it wears.
Yay. That's the fun stuff.
I know.
You'll be where I am right now.
Reverting back to being newly married with no money or raising children with no money. Yeah. Anyway, it'll be fine. And we will be fine. It's just bracing yourself for that sudden change.
Yeah.
So anyway, but we didn't talk about, if you have a piece that you want to share with us, we would love to see it.
Yeah. So you can email it to us at stitchandstuffxs@gmail.com. That's in the description box down below. So you can find that. If you didn't write it down, you can easily find that.
It can be a finished project, or it could be a work in process that you want to show us. We found so many patterns that we had never even seen, like even that JBW alphabet.
Yeah,
that's adorable.
Yeah, I've seen some other cute ones from them too.
Linda stitches a lot of different stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, she's got the fancy ladies and Mirabilias and those who was that designer with the lady with the hat?
Oh, I can't remember the name of that designer.
Famous designer, yeah. And then like that little alphabet and Rosewood Manners, and you're all over the place, Linda, and I love it.
Variety. It's really fun to see.
Do you stitch samplers, Linda?
Oh, that's a good question. Linda, what's your take on samplers? We want to know. Leave a comment below if you're into samplers. You can tell us why we're wrong. We can take it. Just be nice.
Or tell us what your favorite sampler is. If you have one that really kind of turns your world around.
Maybe we
I
just
would love to see them
more and see where we're at.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you work on this week?
Well, a lot of hours was on the Vivaldi girls. And the reason I call them Vivaldi girls is that they're called the Four Seasons, and she had a whole link to Vivaldi's Four Seasons music. And you could click it was a Q code. You could link to it and you could listen to Vivaldi while you were stitching. And anyway, because it's the Four Seasons. Anyway, I worked not only just last night on them, but I had worked earlier in the week on that quite a bit. And then I did work on, so I was spinning my daily spins.
Oh, I thought for a second
and
spinning thread. For a second you meant like spinning yarn, and I was like,
no, I'm not spinning. So I worked a little bit more on Barbara Anna's Garden of Dreams, and I don't have a good picture of it, but it's one of her. You can, if you want to see it, just Google and it'll pop up. It doesn't look like much right now. I'm doing it tiny, but like there, I finished this little cat. I dyed this fabric myself, and I did the blue. I didn't work a whole lot on it. I had a couple nights where my eyes were super tired and super dry. And I was just tired. We're still down a teammate, so we're still doing double duty. That's it. I love her.
Where's the cat? Oh, there's the cat.
Yeah, up above her head, which it looks way darker in that picture.
Yeah, I think
but it's just a gray.
Yeah, I think it's just
I haven't done his eyes. But anyway, so I did knit one night. We were watching some stuff that really demanded my attention, so I didn't feel like I could really concentrate on stitching. And then I have a very, very little start. Well, I really didn't do much on my yearly calendar piece. I might have actually already, no, I don't know if I showed it. No, I did that one little line of the border for March. I haven't started my March Quaker. So my goal this year is to work 8 hours a month, usually on the weekends, 2 hours. 8 hours a month, 2 hours a weekend, right? 2 times 4 is 8, 3 months on each season. So I finished 2 months of winter Quaker in February, and I'll pick it up in December for the 3rd month. So this month I'm starting spring, which I'm really excited about, but I haven't started it. So maybe tonight I'll get a start on it. But I think that is pretty much, I don't think I worked on anything else. And then my knitting, I'll show you my knitting. I'm working on it's called Heart Warmer. It's a cowl, and The designer is Justina Lorkowska. I think she's in Poland. Maybe she's Polish.
That's what you said.
And huh?
That's what you said when you first talked about this.
Yeah, and she goes also by Letty's Knits, Lete apostrophe knits is I think how she goes also on Ravelry. And this is what it's supposed to look like. It's kind of a whole bunch of different stitch patterns. I really take care of my patterns, don't I? So I've done this, the baubles, the broken rib, and now I'm working on this smocking section. And it doesn't show up. I don't know if it'll show up really well. I've only had 2 repeats done on it. But you can see the lines that pull it together to smock it.
Pretty.
These. I bunch it up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to watch a YouTube video because I'm just not very good at reading directions for knitting. I like to see it. And then the written makes sense to me. So I was kind of putting that off earlier in the week. Because we were watching TV and I didn't want to pull up the YouTube video and listen to that while I was watching TV. So, but I also stitched a little, knitted a little bit while we've been at PT appointments on a hat called the sockhead hat. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, just called sockhead, and it's just a big wide brim. It's like 4 inches of rib that you can turn up, and then it's just a slouchy beanie that you just knit until you're done knitting. So. That's it. That's all I worked on. It was not a very productive week this week, except for the finish.
I felt like I had not very many things, but a lot,
I'm just going to sit here and admire them. They're so pretty.
So I worked a little bit, I think, for a few days. Yeah, after we recorded last on trying to get as far as I could on my piece.
That's right, because the month wasn't quite over yet.
Yeah, because I wasn't quite ready to be able to do my March one. So this is where I ended for this year, I guess, unless something happens and I pull it back out. Otherwise, I'll just pull it back out next February.
Yeah.
Part all outlined and some of the patchwork things filled in.
Yeah.
And
I have to interrupt you. I did work a little bit on the February part of my yearly piece too before March hit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, very little, but I started, this says February, and then there's a heart that you start that continues down into the point, down into this box.
Yes.
But I figure I can go back and work a little bit each month on that if I get tired of working on the current month and just kind of keep plugging away on them.
Yeah.
I saw, this was interesting. I was listening to Gail's Golden Needle, like I said, and she's doing WIPGO, but she's doing her WIPGO by seasons. So if her WIPGO number is winter, then she has a bunch of winter pieces that she can just pull. That way she's not set on this winter piece. I thought, well, it's kind of like what I'm doing with my Hoffman Hollow and my Quakers a little bit.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, that's an interesting take on it.
Yeah, that's kind of a fun way to categorize.
So she's got, I think the 4 seasons is what I think she's doing.
That's fun. I like that.
I
also
might do that next year.
Yeah, I could see you really liking to do such a seasonal stitcher. I am working still on summer etching. I'm getting pretty close to being done. I'm almost done.
Oh yeah.
And then I just have a little bit of border to do. And then it's
I
done.
love it. I love it.
You can't really see it very well, but I did vertical with the dungarees floss up and down, up and down, and I think that you can kind of see it. It's not showing up on the camera. It's subtle, but you can kind of see this is lighter, this is darker, and I kind of like how that.
Yeah, I can see it where it's lighter, darker.
Here, I just went horizontally. I think I did full cross stitches all the way across, and then here I did each like diamond shape. I did individually. So
I like it
vertically, and I do really like how the colors kind of came out. That the color variation on that floss in particular is pretty. It is pretty. Simple, so it's not as easy to get it to turn out. So yeah, and I've been thinking about the one that you said she has that floral etching. I was thinking
Oh
about
yeah. I love that one. I think I might get that one actually.
So I finally got smart and I printed out a picture of Tiny Traveler so I wouldn't have to keep remembering to pull it up on my phone. So, so I've been working on my Tiny Traveler Hade, and I am almost done with another row or another column of stitching for the first page. I'm on those leaves up there. Jesse's like, that's going to take you forever. It's like, yes, it is. But I worked on it several days really this week.
Your dad gets smart alecky with me and goes, how's that big project of yours going, Kim?
I know. I can get about 100 stitches done in a sitting. Usually I can think, oh, if I can fill in one square and then I'll go on to another project. So
You know, and you've made a ton of progress on that in the last several months. I mean, you kind of started it and just kind of putzed around with it, but you kind of
is when progress
yeah.
was. I was making some okay progress before, but once I started using pattern keeping, I was like, this is way better. I can fly through, I fly through, and it breaks it up in my mind into manageable chunks.
Maybe next weekend I'll try to get mine out and
it's like highlighted when the stitch is finished, that it highlights that square, so I don't have.
You know what I think is holding me back is that I've got some threads that are it's just merging from what I've been doing on paper to figuring out where I'm at on Pattern Keeper and marking all the ones that I've done so that I'm not going back. That's, I think, what's kind of holding me back is trying to figure that out.
What if you just went to page 2 or whatever next page you're going to do and just started with Pattern Keeper, just started, because I was thinking if I didn't want to go, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if I want to do the next page horizontally or vertically, or if I want to kind of work in diagonal, row,
I'm afraid to skip pages in case I don't start in the right spot.
Yeah, you'd have to count carefully, but that's not so hard to do when you've got the grid.
That's true.
That's
the other problem with the grid is my shaded one my first stitch of 10, or is it the one you start one way, you got to remember how you're doing it.
Once you've done it for a while, you'll have it memorized. Like now I know the bottom, the shaded grid is the bottom and the right of each 100 stitches. And now I know when I start a new square, I'm starting the stitch
below the grid,
top left below the grid, and I go over the grid to the right.
Yeah, that was a little bit also that I was trying to.
Once I had that memorized, that made things easier. So yeah, I'm trying to make good progress. It doesn't look like much, but
it looks like a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, in the big scheme of things, you got a lot to go.
I really like working on it too. I think I didn't work on it for like a week because the charger, it has a specific, it has like one of those universal chargers, like the C, but we have mostly Android or iPhone chargers around the house. So it got put in a basket and I just knew I needed to go hunt it down.
Oh, okay.
I hunted it down and charged things, then I was able to work from my tablet more. And then I started my March piece from the
Little Robin Redbreast.
And I really did work probably the most on this because I haven't seen a lot of that one online. Look how far I got.
Wow.
These are kind of a pain in the booty. I had to tear off. I think I got to here and then realized I miscounted up here. So I had to tear back, and then I did these, and then I did these, but realized I made a mistake. So I had to tear back a little. Anyway,
you know what? It's like these. It's like these up here.
Yes.
They're really easy to get off on. I mean, get off on. I didn't mean it that way, but get off. I'm counting.
To make a mistake on. Yeah. So once it's a little easier now because I know I'm doing this, or I've got that pattern memorized because it's just over and over.
Very cute. It's going to be a cute square.
Yeah, I'm trying to get as far as I.
And that's a lot considering it's just the 5th today.
I know. I didn't start till the 1st, and I got going on it. But yeah, that is the one. Like even if I work on my Hade for 100 stitches or whatever, then I'll pull this out. Like I only get 1 month to work on this. I got to get as much done as I can.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing I have to share is my knitting, and I'm ready to knit the garter stitch hem along the bottom of Rosie's sweater.
Oh, yay.
Go down a needle size. I didn't have it with me on our little trip that we took this weekend. So here we are.
Yay.
This is I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Tuk, Tuk. And
Took.
it's gonna have a hood and longer sleeves. So the hood
Yeah.
I'm gonna do in a contrasting color or coordinating color, I guess. Because I'm pretty sure I won't have enough yarn to do the sleeves
Yeah.
and the hood. But I think
Cute.
that would be okay. A hood that's a
Yeah.
separate color would be fine. So I'm getting there. That is what I'm using this one to be kind of my 25/7. I'm trying to work on that for at least about a half
Yeah.
hour. I want it to get done while it's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I'll never make a stockinette sweater for my child again. Not stockinette. What's the word?
Fingering weight.
Fingering weight. Yeah.
Yeah. DK all the way, baby.
Okay.
DK.
So that's everything I worked on. I don't have any haul. Do you have any haul?
The only real haul I have, well, I bought these flosses, which are gorgeous, and therefore my shepherd's bush ornament, which somebody did comment that they were, Tina said she thought she has all those magazines and maybe she should do them. And I think you should, Tina, do them with me.
That'd be fun.
My other haul is my magazines. So I bought the Just Cross Stitch. Pretty sure Carolyn Zook did a flip through. So if you want to see a whole flip through, watch Carolyn Zook Zook Stitch. But look at these cute little, look at these cuties.
Oh, those are cute.
I love that little chick. But what I really bought it for, there was actually 2 Ukrainian designers that were featured in here. One is actually living in Canada now. But this is Garden Fairy by Stitchy Princess Black.
Oh, that's cute.
That's kind of cute. I kind of like her. Kind of the same motifs as my Flower Fairy. But the other one that was featured in here is not that one. Sorry. Where is it? Thought it was just right after that one. Hold on a second. Because I had not heard of her before. Sorry. Still in the dead air. Walk away.
Face is dirty, but.
Huh? Oh, Teddy's back. Okay.
You can fill it in.
Where is it, guys? I just know it's right here.
Hi. We had our friends puppy sit for us while we were gone. And they were.
Oh, yeah. You had to leave him, didn't you?
Yeah. So we were happy to see him. Look how happy he is to see me.
He's very happy. Well, guys, I'll find it for next time. But this is a cute one. Oh no, it is. Okay, this is it. It's called, so her name is Anna Matvaeva of Mr. Stitch and Mrs. Needle. That's their name. Originally from Ukraine, but currently living in Germany, not Canada. I don't know where I got Canada. She's co-author and exclusive designer of a Ukrainian cross-stitch book and has designed for Anchor. And this is a cute little spring piece.
Oh, that is cute.
Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
Got the traditional Eastern European backstitch in it.
Yeah, a lot of back.
So that was one of my hauls. And the other haul was this magazine. It is Cross Stitcher, January. But you guys, look at these.
Oh, those are cute.
And
is that that's the European one?
That's the one for Britain, yeah. There was a couple other patterns in here that I like, but those just, I thought, oh, those would be fun to stitch someday and to have sitting out in the winter time. See if I can find them. Some better picture of them. So here you can see the deer a little bit better.
Oh, that's cute.
Aren't they cute?
Who's the designer on those?
Focus. The designer on these, Doreen Jones.
Oh, I thought it looked a little like Doreen Jones.
That's why I like them. Anyway, but they also came with this really cute little calendar, celebrations calendar.
Oh, fun.
And so there's some cute ones. So what they do is they have like March, April. So March is just the balloon, but April is the bunny or the mouse with the balloon.
Oh, cute.
And that's kind of how each 2 months are. So this one was, January, February was birth with a cake. So it's a slice of cake for January, but it's the hedgehog in the cake for February. So I thought, oh, these are some kind of cute little smalls.
Those are fun.
that were kind of fun. So that was worth it, but I don't know if it was $16.99 worth it, according,
Yeah.
especially with your dad. But you do have haul. It's just not cross stitch haul. I'm going to show you. So when we were at my dad's house today, I've gotten most of my mom's stuff out because my dad has a new lady. Well, she's not new, but she moved in a year ago. And so my mom loved chickens, and the new lady doesn't like chicken so much. So I brought this home for you,
Oh,
which I know Millie really loved.
Millie loved that one. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And then I brought this one home. I think this is the other one that you wanted. There was a white one, but she's keeping that one for now in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, I do
Was
like
this
that
the other one you wanted?
Yeah, well, there is one like it that I have already from there. So yeah, I do like that one.
I couldn't let these go.
I know. Yeah.
I got them for you because I figured you'll probably use them.
Yeah.
Get this one. So my mom had kind of a year. It was like she left it up all year in her kitchen nook. There was a bunch of sunflower and some Halloween, like cutesy little things out that she kind of kept out all year because she loved fall. And they had been packed away and they were out in a shed, and I could not find them a while ago. So I went back out to the shed tonight and I found one crate with just a little bit in it. So I don't know if they kept some stuff to put out next fall, which could be. But you guys, so I opened this other crate up and I'm like, holy crap. So my mom, when I was in elementary school, middle to upper elementary school, so in the late 60s, early 70s, my mom did ceramics. And she did a beautiful nativity scene with all the pieces. And she painted them gorgeous colors. And then back then it was really popular to do a stain on them. So they were more muted and more antique looking, but not cheapy antique, but they called it staining. I have not seen that nativity set for probably, I don't think she's had it out. My mom didn't put it out for at least 20 years. Her taste changed, but I recently thought about it. I think at Christmas time, I thought, I wonder whatever happened to that nativity. I thought, I bet she just gave it away. I found it packed up in a crate, wrapped up in paper towels. I haven't opened it all up, but I know it's all there, and the little wooden manger that she had. And I'm like, yeah, my dad's not going to know I took it. He doesn't even know it's probably out there.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh my gosh, it's still here after all this time. I know. So anyway, it's out in Dad's car still. But I was really happy to find that because I had forgotten all about it. And like I said, just like this year, for some reason it popped into my head. And I remember her having it out, I know where she used to put it. Back in the day, you had TVs that had flat tops on top of them. You just had the box, and she would put it up on top of the TV for a while. Then I think it was on the hutch. Huh?
Remember it at all.
I'll show it next week.
Yeah, maybe if I see it.
You might remember it from your childhood. I don't know.
Not either.
It'd be interesting to see if you do.
You know what?
But
I do remember, and I wish I didn't remember, were those clown masks that she had painted and put in her rec room that I had to sleep under when we would stay the night under the pull-out couch. And there was like a happy face and a sad face clown mask up above me, and I really wish I didn't remember those because they
were very well painted. They were very. My mom, we growing up had a family room, kind of, they called it a rec room, and for most of my growing up years, it was just a toy room. We played out there because our bedrooms were small. But then when we got a little bit older, they remodeled it. They put they put black and white carpet in there. It was very 70s, right? But she decorated it all in clowns. Yeah. The whole room just had ceramic clowns, stuffed clowns, just pictures of clowns. It had a corner brick fireplace in there. It's a really cute room. And then
it is a cute room.
Yeah. And then they had like a black and white couch. But the couch made out into a bed, and that's where when we would go visit for the weekend, because we'd go up there and visit them for the weekend. Sarah and Andrew slept in a bed that was underneath the clowns.
I didn't like that very much. To close my eyes and pretend they weren't there.
You never said much about it.
I don't know. I told you later, probably.
Yeah. Well, they're gone. I don't know where they are. I won't take them if I found them.
You'll probably find them in a bin somewhere.
I think, didn't one of your younger brothers years later find one and come running out of the rec room to Sarah, look.
I don't remember that. That's scary. Oh,
I
my
kind of think I remember that. So anyway, that's your haul, is some chickens in my magazine.
no, chickens.
But
And then you
Yeah.
picking up a thread.
you don't like this one so much?
I didn't say that. I thought that was cute.
Oh, I didn't show you the red side.
Oh, yeah, that's cute.
I love him. I'm into chickens. I love him.
Yeah.
I rescued him for you, honey. They're chicken rescues.
Figure out if we want him and where we put him. It's funny that Millie liked that one particularly.
Pretty sure she did because they were out on the back
My
patio.
favorites are the ceramic ones. Oh,
Yeah. Well, eventually I'll get the white one.
Yeah, I really love that white one. Look at him sleeping. He's so sweet.
Oh, Teddy's so happy his people are home. They were gone.
I know.
Who watched him?
Our friends from co-op
Oh,
really love dogs.
did he do okay?
Great. He did great. He didn't have any accidents.
Okay, so my son and daughter-in-law, Junie's parents, have a dog that is super. She was their baby. Like I don't know if they thought they weren't going to have children at some point. And so they got this dog as a puppy. Her name's Esmeralda, and she's very high maintenance and she's very loyal.
Watching.
Yeah. And she's very sensitive. So like if anything's off, she won't. What's the matter? Is you crying?
What do you want? Do you want down?
Like she won't eat if things aren't just right. Like she can be a little high strung that way. Well, when my son's in Malaysia, and so Junie and mommy came here for a week. Now they're back home. But for that week, they left Ezzy at my brother-in-law and his wife's house. And they have at Nancy's house. And hi, Nancy. And they have a lab, Bella, she's just a lovely little dog, a little big dog, but she's sweet. Then they have kind of a crabby old dog named Fritz. And so I was always wondering how Ezzy was going to do for a whole week at somebody else's house. And apparently Ezzy was living her best life.
Oh.
She slept with Aunt Nancy or Abby. She stayed down by the heater all day while Nancy was working in the basement. She ate just fine. She loved playing with Bella. Yeah, I think Cassidy felt like maybe she didn't want to come home and be with that baby anymore, but toddler.
Yeah, she probably enjoyed having a break.
Yeah. And Cassidy and Andrew have a leather ottoman in their living room that they use, for storage because it lifts up, and they've had diaper stuff in there for Junie. And well, I guess as he was at Aunt Nancy's, they have a coffee table kind of in the same position as that ottoman. And I guess Ezzy would just get up on top of it and stand on the table. I don't even think she could look out the window from there, if I'm remembering their house right. But for some reason, I
quirky dog.
think she just felt like it was the ottoman. So yes, doggies sometimes don't do well, and sometimes they do just fine. Did your friends have a dog at their house?
No, they've been wanting to get a dog, but they haven't. And
so he was the star of the show overnight.
And all their kids just loved him. These are the friends that we had. Their kids stay overnight a couple weeks ago.
Good boy, Teddy.
Yeah. Well, here's my plans. Look, my March.
That's right. You didn't have March plans. I can't read it. Light.
Well, and I did it in pencil because I didn't have a pen handy. So my theme piece for the magazine monthly challenge, which if you're new here or don't know, is Facebook group. So you can go search for that and join. It's fun. Mine is not going to be from a magazine this month. I decided to do my shepherd's bush needle roll that I bought at a needle workshop. And it's also designed from a needle workshop.
Because the theme is needle workshop.
The theme is needle workshop. Each month apparently is going to be a different place. Is the theme for the month, for the year. And then
is that what they're doing?
Yeah, that's what Carolyn
makes sense.
Yeah. What was January again? What was January and February?
Beach was February.
Yeah, I didn't do January. Right. February was beach. And January I did the other challenge they were doing. So I didn't do their monthly challenge. I decided to do the prompt for the acrostic with the prompt for charge it because I wanted a little bit more challenge. So hopefully, because the other option was Etsy, I think I wanted more than 4 projects to rotate through this month. So I'm going to work on, for C, I'm going to work on my chickens, that dimensions kit. For H, I'm going to do Hawk Run Hollow for spring, my spring Hawk Run Hollow. For A, I chose the word authors, which is the bookshelf piece by Little House Needleworks. That was a piece from Aunt Nancy. For R, I'm going to work on rest and be thankful. I'm going to try to finish that roof this month. My G is I did green for Lexington green, which is one of the colors on my robin piece for the month that I showed. E is my Lizzie Kate Easter bunny that hasn't come up for a long time. Not really an Easter bunny, but kind of. They're Easter. Kind of. They're springy. I just did the work. I couldn't think of a good one for I, so I wanted to work on my Snow Queen. It's my Whipco piece this month. And so Icy. Yeah, Icy for Snow Queen. And I think Tiny Traveler, my Hade, is also my other Whipco piece. And so I put that for T, Tiny Traveler. That's what I'm going to work on. I'm not sure exactly what I'll work on of those this week, but I'll probably try to pick a different one each night to make an hour's progress.
And mine, again, my theme for Needle Workshop was Shepherd's Bush. My ornaments I'm doing that were in the Just Cross Stitch ornament magazines from 2000 to 2008. Every year they had an ornament, and it's the Nativity. And last month. So I'm working on one every 2 months. So I'll get 6 done this year. So the one I did already was 2,000 years ago, and I think it had a shepherd and a sheep. And then this month and next month, I'll get it done in easy peasy. It's an easy one. It's Angels. Angels Rejoice. And then I just chose Etsy as my acrostic. So I've got Patchwork Ate by Jardin Privé. My Thanksgiving Fairy from Mirabilia for T. Spring Quaker that I need to start and do 8 hours this month on is for S. And my yearly piece for my calendar is March, and it's yearly. And then my Whipco is Hoity Toity for 2 hours, Hawk Run Hollow for 2 hours. I did very easy Whipco this year because I wasn't sure what my year was going to look like. I didn't want to totally fail because I think
some other, goals that you had, like your Quakers and things like that.
Yeah, and I'm focusing on my Quakers and my ornaments each month. And we've got this trip that's going to be 2 weeks in May, so my stitching in May will be a little sparse because I don't stitch that much when I'm on vacation. I knit mostly on vacation. And then if we move this year, which that's our goal, then we'll be busy packing and house. So my stitching might get a little sparser. I'm still stitch, but I didn't want to have a Whipco goal of like 8 hours or something because then I knew I would not make it. So I figured it keeps me moving on my projects. And I am going to do, so my Hawk Run Hollow, I gave myself the option. I just put Hawk Run Hollow because I could either work on my Christmas one or a year in Hawk Run Hollow. And I'm going to work on a year in Hawk Run Hollow. Bring that one back out for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've got goals this week. This week shouldn't be too bad. I don't think I've got Dad's going down to just one time a week for PT. Got nothing other than my dad's appointment on Friday. So hopefully our evenings will be kind of quiet. We got our new driveway, guys. That was exciting.
It's really
good. Driveway and walkway. So because we've just had a gravel driveway all of these years. We're such geeks. The night that they poured it, the day that they poured it, by evening we could we didn't walk on it the first day, but we would walk through the grass, and we had our cars parked in front of the driveway so nobody would drive on it. So we went out. My husband goes, I'm going to go out and look at the driveway. Do you want to come with me? So we would go out and stand against the cars and just look at our driveway and our path. And then the next day we could walk on it. And he goes, I'm going to go walk on our sidewalk. Do you want to come walk on it with me? We're such geeks.
So you did.
We did. We were so happy. So happy. They did such a good job. But that's done now, except for the gate isn't back up. They're supposed to come help us get the gate back up. They have to cut they brought it up to literally the gate posts. So the wood is too low. So they got to cut a bunch of it off. So right now our back is open, and I don't like that very much.
Yeah, it's nice.
I kind of freaked out last night when I was stitching, because I stitch on the corner of the couch right by the window, which is right by our back patio. And normally I don't worry because our backyard is padlocked, and usually people aren't going to jump your fence unless there's a real problem, unless they're really determined. And I'm stitching and watching some TV, and I hear this kind of weird pop sound from this direction. And I'm like, I was kind of afraid to look out the window in case somebody was looking in at me. I think what it was my Powerade bottle, I think, popped. I think I had squeezed it. But I was so paranoid for the next half hour. I kept kind of looking like, but you know what's crazy? Huh?
And you don't have blinds in that window to pull down. So
I did, but I was afraid to get up and pull them in case there was somebody crouching there. I didn't want to be by the window anymore. I just wanted to sit there very quietly. But you know what's crazy about this? So the friends that we have dinner with once a week, and that are moving to Idaho, we had dinner with them Friday night, and we left their house, and we go back to their house for dessert usually, because we're usually at a restaurant by their house. And we left there maybe like 8:45 or so and came home. And then the next morning, my husband went over there to take them our carpet cleaner, because they're painting and cleaning their house to move. And I guess after we left about 10 o'clock that night, there was a knock on their door. And they don't live in the best of neighbor. I mean, like, this whole area where I live is not great. I mean, there's just a lot of shenanigans that go on at night. So anyway, there was cops at their door, and they're like, we got a call that somebody's in your backyard and not doing well. What? And they're like, what? And they're like, we didn't call it. I don't know if they ever found out who called it in. So the cops went back there and looked, and the husband does have a shop with a sliding glass door, and apparently it was open. But sometimes I think he leaves it open and forgets to shut it. Well, at least I felt that way in the summertime. Maybe they don't do that in the winter. I don't know. I haven't talked to her yet to find out if they thought that somebody had opened it, but there was nobody there. And at the time that we talked to them, they didn't know who had called it in either. Weird. I know. So then I had this noise in my backyard, and I'm like, don't look. And of course, I've been watching true crime, and we've been watching CSI. I don't want to be on CSI. I don't want to be an episode on CSI. Yeah. You want to hear the other funny thing I did to your dad? You guys, we went to Wendy's for lunch, and we got up to leave, and he's walking well but slower, and we got up, and I went to get a refill on my drink, and I turned around, and he was like nowhere to be seen. I'm like, well, where the heck did he go? I look, and he's halfway across the parking lot. He didn't wait for me, and that's not like him. And so I go stomping out there. I'm like, what, am I too slow for you? He goes, no, I'm just getting to the car. I'm just slower than you, and I want to start the car so it'll be warm for you. And I said, I could have had a stroke in there, and they would have wondered where you were. He goes, what? I go, I could have fallen. I could have had a stroke walking out there, and you wouldn't even have known. And he goes, well, do you feel like you're going to have a stroke? I said, people don't know they're going to have a stroke until they have the stroke, honey. And so we had this discussion on the way home. So that night we were telling our friends about it at dinner. And when we went to leave their house, he went out ahead of me, and I was standing in their doorway talking to my friend, and he pops his head in. Did you have a stroke yet? And he walks out.
Don't you think that if you didn't come out for just a little bit, he'd come look for you and wonder where you were? If like an ambulance came to pick somebody up, he might notice and come see if that was you.
Yeah, but I just kind of felt like, we're at that age. I could have slipped.
Then where would you have been?
Just been in the car playing your game on your phone, waiting for me.
I was on the floor at Wendy's, seizing.
I won't live that one down for a while. I was just like, it was so unlike him to walk that far. I mean, usually we walk out together. I don't know why, it just really struck me like, dude, where?
He just knows you're starting to need some space from him.
I guess so. Hey, we do have to address a question somebody asked on our YouTube. Yes. On our YouTube, somebody wanted to know about the crystals we were talking about in my ear.
This is not like New Age crystals. We're not talking about those kind of crystals.
I'm not buying crystals. You explain it, because you got the audiology speech therapy.
I'll do my best. Okay, so if in our inner ear, in our every like every term is escaping me, but we have little tiny crystals that help us sense where we are in space. So those kind of help us know if we're laying down or if we're upright or if we bend over. They kind of, the fluid in our
They float, don't they?
cochlea maybe is,
Yeah.
it moves, and those crystals kind of sense it, and it tells you where you are in space.
But they're supposed to stay in a certain
They're
spot.
supposed to stay in a spot, but if they break free, and they're kind of, which happens to people, and they're kind of free floating in that fluid, and you maybe bend over or you turn your head a certain way, and it lodges one of those crystals in one of the receptors that it shouldn't be in, then suddenly you can feel very disoriented and not sure where you are in space.
Vertigo. Yeah, have vertigo.
So when we said, I was saying something about, I was asking or something if you had done your crystal
Epling.
It's the Epling maneuver, and you lay down. Well, you can describe that part because you know.
You lay down. You're supposed to lay down with your head hanging over the bed, but I can't, because what happens is when I
dislodge that crystal.
Yeah, what you do is you try to induce the vertigo to start, and they say, so you're hanging your head on the edge that you think triggers it, and then you trigger it, and you're supposed to hang on for 30 seconds and then whip your head down really hard
to try and dislodge
that way. So I made my own version, because first of all, the idea when I'm having vertigo of hanging my head off the bed and spinning like that, your heart, when you have vertigo, your heart just starts to race. And it just really sets off an adrenaline thing. And I just couldn't do it. So when I was having some really bad vertigo after a pandemic, so like maybe 2021, or maybe even in 2020, I had some episodes. And so I would just go lay on the bed, and I would trigger one and hold it, and then just turn my head really hard into the mattress. And that usually stops it. Oftentimes, if I'm having just an episode of it, if I wake up and I'm having, like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and have it sometimes, which is so
kind of like lodged funny.
I probably turned over. If I smack my hand on the bed, it just kind of, sometimes that just stops it. Yeah, but I don't know. It's frustrating because I don't like it.
Yeah.
But there's no way to really make it stay in place, right? I mean, once they dislodge, do you make new ones?
I would think it would be quite an invasive surgery. I'm not really sure because I don't know that much about this until I started.
And how big are they? Are they like microscopic?
Probably tiny, because we're talking about such a tiny little area inside your.
I know. I don't know that much about it. I just know that when I started having vertigo.
Google vertigo, ear crystals. Cochlea is not the right term, but I'm spacing out on.
Well, it's in your inner ear.
Oh, your inner ear. Yeah, which part of your inner ear does it's your vestibular system.
Yeah.
So
and when I started having more and more vertigo, I did go to an ENT, ear, nose, and throat, and he said, you've just got positional vertigo. It has to do with that crystal, and a certain position will dislodge it. And yeah, I can go a long time and not have any problems. And then once I have a problem, it's kind of like,
I wonder if you're like, it's not like dislodging all the way, like, because I'm not really sure what the anatomy, I don't remember what the anatomy is off the top of my head, but so that's what we were talking about when we were talking about vertigo and crystals.
Yeah, I wasn't buying crystals
to like a crystal store to buy crystals. Some people do that. We don't believe in crystals. I don't believe in crystals like that, but
no, I just want a pill. Give me a pill for all my problems.
We're talking about ear crystals.
Yeah.
We had a giveaway last week.
We did. Let me find it. It's in my stack here.
That cute little Valentine-y, but it's not really Valentine-y, but it is called
Valentine. It's really not. It's really more, when I look at it, I mean, it's got some heart-shaped things, but you wouldn't have to make them in a heart shape.
Yeah.
This was from Brenda Gervais, right? Yeah, Brenda Gervais.
Yeah.
She calls it a Valentine sampler because I think she did like a Valentine Whitman's or Russell Stover box.
Yeah. So you can
look at that cute one there.
So
that's a needle roll or a scissor roll. Yeah. Super cute. It gives you all the finishing directions on how to do any of those. I think it's got.
I love the buttons all along the bottom.
Scissor fob, pin cushion, and that's the box.
That's the little box. So the winner for this is Suzanne LeMay. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, Suzanne. So congratulations, you've won this. So shoot us an email. at
Please.
stitchandstuffxs@gmail.com so that we can get you your winnings. Include your mailing address. And if you could, a reminder of what you won, that's fine. If you don't,
Yeah.
we remember, we write it down. We do it. We try to
I
remember.
do have it. I'm getting better about it.
Yeah.
But we have a giveaway for this
We
week.
have a new week. Yeah, new one.
And this one I picked up the other day called Bumble. I love these petites because we've given away 2. And Emily Call, I have not forgotten your Valentine one. She won the last one of these, but this one's called Bumblebee Petites by Little House Needleworks. And I've never seen this one. I don't know if it's new, but how cute are those?
So cute. Those are really
This
cute.
is 2023, so it's new.
That is a brand new one.
It was not a market release, but I don't think it was.
It just came out.
I don't think I could get it if it was a market release yet. So I think it was just one of her newer ones.
If you're interested in winning this, use the word bees, plural, in comment. BEES. And that's the word I will search for when I'm searching for comments. So if you want to win that.
You know what's interesting about this though? And so I bought it at Threadneedle Street, Denise's store by me. And when I was in there last time, like a month ago before Dad's surgery, we were talking about designers and patterns. And she told me that Blackbird Designs are notorious for designing their patterns and showcasing them on fabrics that are no longer available or available through the main distributors. And she's reached out to them and said, I can't get those fabrics aren't available. And they don't listen. Well, get this one. This one is not Blackbird, it's Little House, but they use something called Rue Green linen, which is discontinued. And first of all, it's not even really green to me. That's more of a gray blue. Yeah. Which is, you can't even get that anymore by Witchelt.
So for a brand new pattern, that's what it was using.
Yeah. And she said, I don't know why they're not paying more attention to what they're stitching their things on.
Yeah. Because if you see a picture and you think, I want to replicate that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get that fabric. And then you
don't want to dye your own fabric.
Right.
Yeah. Oh. You know what else I noticed? This is really kind of I noticed that a lot of the maybe I told this before, a lot of the market releases that I was looking at on Garon Stitchery's website, they're beautiful pieces, but they're all stitched on like 40 count and 50 count. That's the new wave now. 40 count and 50 count. And I was talking to her, Denise, about that, and she goes, well, isn't that like if you stitch on Ada, you're just not as good a stitch. That's the kind of the feeling.
Yeah.
But, no,
not true at all. Stitch on Ada. I love it.
It's not true, but if you wanted to stitch that and be as little as it looks like in the pattern, you're going to have to either really adjust your fabric, which is okay to do, like from 36 to 18 count or 14 to 27 count.
Yeah, 28.
28, yeah, 28. But what do you go down to if they're stitching on a 50 count? This is on a 32 count, so you're safe on this one. But I've just noticed
50 count over 2, so you would do a 25 count, which is,
I guess, but I just feel like I just noticed a lot of them. A lot of the ones I looked at.
To try. I wonder why that would be.
I don't know, but there is an aging. Some of us are aging, and that isn't going to ever happen. I mean, I could probably pull off a 40 count, but it would not be enjoyable.
Yeah.
With my magnifier for short periods of time, but it wouldn't be fun. I know somebody was posting on their Instagram, I'm not getting much. They were road tripping to Nashville, and they're like, I'm not getting much stitching done. These roads really aren't a lot of these roads aren't really conducive to stitching on 40 count. And I thought, road to me is
yeah, that's a lot.
Anyway, so I find that a little frustrating, but or at least put an alternative, say,
Yeah.
And I know I know one of the gals that I was watching this week really has a hard time stitching on linen, and stitching on even weave is really new to her. She's a beautiful stitcher, and I knew she could probably do it, but I think even like Lugana over 2 is a big stretch.
To be able to picture the square over,
Yeah. 2. I feel like I'm more and more going to just try to stitch on more even weave, because I am having a harder time on linen. at least some pieces just don't look to me as good because my stitches just aren't.
Probably if you were stitching a lot of samplers, you would like linen a lot because it gives you that really rustic kind of
Okay. Yeah.
not even,
Yeah.
which is, that's kind of more rustic like that.
Which is part of why I didn't like my flea
Like
market.
linen weaves more and more too. I stitching on less linen.
Yeah. Like my flea market flowers on linen, just I could not get those stitches to look good.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah. Gail's Golden Needle was showing a piece she was working on. I forget the designer. It's a Halloween piece. Oh, somebody famous, but I can't remember who it was. But she was showing she had restarted it because she started it on one fabric. She started it on like I think it was chai, like the fabric was chai tea or something like that. And it was kind of a tan with some modeling on it. And I thought it looked beautiful, her colors. There's some really bright flower motif, and then there's I think dark pieces on it too because it's Halloween. But then she went and got a fabric that was just Storm, not Stormy Night, but just Storm, which was grayer and had more mottling in it. And her colors did pop, but in her mind, it wasn't just the colors that were popping. I think both were even weaves, but she felt like her stitches in general just looked better. And maybe because it was more saturated.
Maybe.
But even between the two colors of fabric, she felt like her stitches looked different, even though they think they were both even weaves.
Interesting.
And her pieces always are really beautifully saturated because she always, I think almost always does 2 strands. So even if she's doing, well, I mean, I would do 2 strands on 28 count. I don't know if she's doing anything on 32 count, which I would do 2 strands on also.
I almost always love that 2-strand look. I like my pieces to look really saturated.
Yeah. Which I'm going to have to play around with on my flea market flowers piece. If you're new here, it's a piece by Fat Quarter Shop, and I started it on a black linen. I've only seen one other person on Instagram do it on black. I loved it on the black, and the person that I'm kind of modeling after used a few substitution of colors, and I was doing it with 1/2 on the linen, but I'm gonna hopefully, I don't know what I got now. I got something in the mail. I'm gonna do 2 because I want it to be vibrant.
Yeah, for really good coverage over black, I would do.
Yeah, because it's really bright, beautiful, funky flowers.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, how you can play around with different things like that.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to get my Vivaldi girls framed. I think I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find a frame manufactured already that size.
Yeah, you'd have to measure and see.
Because I have to have enough room. I could get like 11 by 14, but it's not going to fit in 11 by 14.
Right.
Maybe Dad could build me one. I got him all the stuff to do it.
Yeah.
I might have to wait until after we move and he can set that all up.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm not kidding. I do really love it, you guys. I just love it. I just want to look at it all the time.
So cute.
Here, this should be our thumbnail.
Okay, we'll try to do it.
My glasses.
We'll hope. Well,
yeah.
Anything else? Oh, books, really quick, and then I need to go help get the girls in bed.
Me too. I gotta go. Woo, yeah.
Here's what I'm reading. It's the same as last week, but I don't think I had them with me. Jonathan Stroud. Look at this cute bookmark.
That's cute.
One with the ribbon. I think I did show that before.
Yeah.
Jonathan Stroud, Lockwood & Co. #4. We did start watching that show, and I felt like it was doing a really good job following what I would think for the characters and things. There's a Lockwood & Co. show. I think it's on Netflix. Characters were.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, was that the one where they go to a mansion? The family moves this mansion and weird things are happening. There's a wishing well. No, that was something Lock
and Key, which we talked about last week.
Okay, that's Lock and Key.
The ones that are like a ghost hunting agency, kind of.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we should look for that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. We've only watched one episode, but I'm on book 4, and I thought it was pretty representative of what I would think the characters would be like and things like that. So that was fun.
That's always fun.
I'll be showing this for the next 3 years. No, my goal is to finish it by end of August. So I'm reading 20 pages a day. I haven't missed a day. So I'm on page 50 now. Not 20, 10. No, 6 pages a day. I'm reading 20 pages a day in this, which is way easier to do because look at this.
The print like this tiny.
Yeah, Millie was like, well, why are you only reading 6 pages in the other one? And I was like, well, because you've got pages like this compared to pages like this. Like 6 pages is about all I can. Actually, it's quite easy reading, but it's just dense on a page itself.
Is there a way on a Kindle to, it always has location, but I know there's pages too, because I really should do that. I should figure out pages and make myself read so many pages so that
When I do it with my Kindle, because I haven't figured out a way to actually see pages, maybe somebody else does, I go by percentage. I'm like, well, okay, I want to read this book, and I set reading goals for myself, because then I actually
I need to do that.
If I want to finish, it's a library book, let's say I have it for 21 days through Libby. I want to finish this book in 21 days. So what percent do I have to read every day to have it done in 20 days? And then I'll try to shoot for that percent.
That's a lot of math.
Well, I use my calculator. It's not that hard to do that math. You take 20. I mean, you just think about what
100% divided by
20. So you would read 5 pages.
Well, 5%.
Depends on how long the book is. Yeah, 5% of the book a day to get it done in 20 days. But if you did 30 days,
whatever you want to pick, I should do that, because I do look at the location and my percentage, and I'm like, oh, I'm at 54%. I'm almost done.
You're halfway done. That's
halfway done.
That's halfway. Yeah.
And I'm still reading Walking Miss Millie, and I didn't read much this week because I was tired, and when I went to bed, I just went to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, thank you for joining us as we chatted again this week. We are really appreciative of you all, and your comments make me smile, and I love it when we get comments, because even though I should probably reply more. I try to heart all, because I read them.
Yeah.
Really should reply more to
them. Is there anybody else we needed to answer anything with?
No, I don't think there were any other questions that I can think of. Everything else just, comments on things.
Everybody loved your snake in the drain story.
It's like, oh.
Did you read Tina's comment that her family walked through the room and her sons and her husband?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had a video of it, because it was very startling.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And people, like Norma Jeans did say, that she knows the feeling. Her husband's retired for 5 years, and she's still trying to get used to him being around all day. Sometimes she tells him that he needs to get a job. I appreciated Janet's comment, because I do feel like I'm gonna have stuff to stitch. It's not going to be a dry drought.
Yeah,
I might need to buy flosses and stuff, but
I need to stitch.
I've got plenty of patterns, which is comforting.
Oh, it was Rhonda that was asking about the crystal.
Oh, yeah. And my vertigo's not been bad at all this week.
That's good.
I haven't had any. My eyes are just really super dry. Today they were really like one eye was watering when I got up, and it watered all the way out to Grandpa's house, and then it finally stopped watering. I don't know what that was all about. Tell you guys, getting old is not for sissies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a happy stitching week.
Yes. And
give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah. Maybe we could hit 700 subscribers someday. 700.
700 would be a fun goal.
Really make a goal of subscriber numbers. Doesn't really matter to me, but it would be kind of exciting and fun.
Yeah. People do. I mean, people put out people's names and say, hey, these people are trying to get up to 700, and
I'm trying to get to 1,000.
If you feel so inclined, you could give us a shout out that we're trying to get. We've just kind of been at the same amount.
Yeah, which is fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Our faithful friends.
I know.
Well, okay. I better go get my kids in bed, because we're starting school back up after our school break last week.
Yeah. Well, we love you all.
Happy stitching. Have a good week.